Hi, welcome to Threads of Time. My name is Zephania. This is episode, let's have a look, 16. And yeah, welcome to my little place on the internet where I chat about all of my knitting, crafting, anything that I get my hands on and want to try. I will show you my finished object, which you've seen in almost complete in the last episode. Is this cardigan. I haven't sewn on the buttons yet because I was waiting for them in the mail and they've come finally. And yeah, I think I have to also make up some little shoulder pads because the puff kind of droops a little and I'd prefer it to stand up more. So I have to do that and then it'll be ready to wear. Yeah, I've spoken a bit about this and I'm using the same yarn in a whip, so I'll talk about that then. I did the instructions for going up a needle size, although I think I stayed the same needle size because I tend to knit looser than recommended in the majority of vintage patterns. So I think I knit this on a 3.25 and my gauge is a little bit off, but that gives you the bust size 36 and it definitely works, but I think the sleeves are too big. They're too wide. So I think next time if I do that on another project, I might do more calculations for the sleeves so they don't end up so droopy. Yeah, that's that. And I'm using the leftovers for Camisole number 5, which I've talked about wanting to knit before but in different yarn, but I figured I would have enough left. So once I'd finished the sleeves, I cast this on and it's well on its way. I have finished the body, I think. It is long enough now. I'm going to swap it over onto a separate needle and not cast it off just yet, and then do all the, so you pick up stitches around the neck and armhole. I have to look at a video because it's double knit and I'm not sure how it's done. Don't really understand the instructions, so I need to watch something visual. But yeah, the yarn is Tarndie 4-ply in the colourway Lime Water and it's quite stretchy. And I think even though it is a wool, I'll still be comfortable in the summer because I won't have my arms covered. So yeah, that's that. I'm really looking forward to wearing it. The weather's been not very summery, although it's much better today. And yeah, that's that. It looks so skinny. I'm doing the second size, so I think it should be fine. I always struggle with measuring the gauge of rib because you never quite really know how someone has blocked their swatch. Like, did they open it up a little bit and count? Did they keep it closed? So I got gauge with 3mm needles and yeah, should fit. It's stretchy, so there's that. I did cast on another project, another vintage pattern, which is a free pattern that Beck's Femme or Subversive Femme has on her blog. So it's a really interesting construction of a side to side with some stripes, which I'm going to do in this maroony burgundy colour. Look how pretty it is. I love it. This is by Miss Click Clack, and I think the colourway was something Persian. I can't quite remember. I don't have the tag anymore. And the black is just some leftover Bendigo woolen meals. So I had another little tiny ball, which puts me at like, I think it was like 230 grams, which should be enough for my size. Bex has knit this and she has blog posts about knitting this, and she knit the bigger size and used about 250 grams. So I think me and the smaller size just under will be fine. Fingers crossed. I am going to make some modifications on this pattern. So the stripes are knit in a rib, but I'm just going to do it plain. And yeah, hopefully I like how it turns out. Fingers crossed. I don't know how I feel about the Bendigo Woolen Mills 4-ply, because I haven't used this in a different project and I didn't like the gauge, like how it felt. But then this is much nicer. So I think the gauge is 7.5 stitches per inch. I'm using a 3mm, and it's just not so, I don't know how to describe it, but puffy. It's not so puffy. But hopefully once it's washed and blocked it still stays like this. And I think I'll get a lot of wear out of it. I'll make sure I have had a picture up at some point so you can see what the actual finished project looks like. But I think a lot of my vintage knits have that bat wing style, and I find them quite comfortable, so I'm hoping this will go well with some of my other clothing. I think once my number 5 is off the needles, I will cast on a project for my partner's mum, which I've talked about. The rest of my drops order, well, my wool warehouse order came, and I showed her all the colours and she picked this light blue, which it'll be a zip jacket, like a full zip. I did swatch on the recommended needle size for the pattern, and I am off gauge, so I might knit a medium that will become a large, because I had 2 more stitches per inch, I think. But yeah, I don't really want to go up a needle size because I already find the 5mm needle super chunky. I mean, lots of people complain about small needles. I'm going to complain about anything above 4.5mm because I'm so used to knitting on 2.75 to 3.25 mil that it just feels so cumbersome, the bigger needle. So yeah, I'm going to start that, I think, after I finish my number 5. I'm going to try and have my plan going forward in terms of projects to have one modern, one vintage. I do have that dress that I've shown, but I consider that a long-term project, so it comes in and out of being worked on, and it hasn't been worked on in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's how I'm managing my whips going forward, I think. I have also been sewing a little. Surprise. I'm surprised. So I have I call this, saying this is a wearable mock-up because I have made some adjustments to the pattern that I obviously needed to try out, and they've been mostly successful. So it's just a sheath dress. It has no waist seam, so it's all in one piece with darts. I really like this fabric. I think it's a cotton linen from memory. It's from Spotlight, so easily accessible. But yeah, I just have to do the hem and the zipper, and then I'm going to make some adjustments through the side seams. I have a little bit of gaping here in the armpit, so once the zipper's in, I'm going to try it on, mark what I want to change, put that change on the paper pattern, and then hopefully try and fix that gaping by taking in the side seam, where in the paper pattern I'm going to put it in a dart and then put that fullness into the side dart. Anyway, if you're interested in dart manipulation, I definitely recommend The Closet Historian. She has a whole series of videos on making your own basic block. I also followed one of her videos for the facings, because the facing in the original pattern were like separate and it has a collar, but I did it as an all-in-one facing, so you can kind of see it's all attached through the shoulder and neck and back. Yep, like that. I wasn't very good at the back stitching, understitching, is that what it's called? Understitching. I only really just did this neck part here, and because it's just a little bit fiddly on the machine, I didn't want to put a whole lot of time into it and then figure out that the wearable mock-up's not going to be wearable. So yeah, that's that one. Hopefully have that done soon. I think this fabric will be nice for the summer if the weather ever decides to behave. We're going through another wet summer here in Australia, an El Nino or whatever it is they call it. Yeah, the other project I've been working on is digitizing some of my unique patterns and putting them up on Etsy. Maybe I'll do a little screenshot of scrolling through the ones I've done. But yeah, I have so far pretty much only uploaded, so there was a manufacturing company like Yarn Mill. It was Sunglow in the 40s. It turned into FW Hughes or Twin Proofray in the 50s. And I've been uploading some of those because they're a little bit rarer than Peyton's. So here's some 50s. These ones actually have dates in them, and if you want to see all the patterns in the books, I'll leave a link for my Etsy. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, but if you're interested in vintage patterns, I scan them exactly as the book is. I don't make any changes. So, but yeah, these ones have dates in them, so I know they're the start of the 50s. And then I actually realized as I was scanning them that I have let's find them. I have the number sequence. So I have Twin Proofy 190. I think you've seen these before. And then I have, this one isn't up yet, but I have scanned it. I just haven't made it into a PDF. I have 191. I'm thinking of knitting this one on the back, very 50s. And then I have a 192, and this one has a advert in it for 1955. It's like a new twin proofé designs at newsagent, new 1955 styles. Your favourite store or news agents has the wonderful new twin proofé knitting books. So I thought that was really interesting. I didn't realize I had like consecutive numbering in my collection. I've done this one. This one's been scanned. This is the first one I did because it's just so unique, that front pattern. It's very, you know, like Greece style 50s. And then yeah, I have two more huges, which is also twin proofé. I haven't uploaded this one because it's already been uploaded on there. This is a 1958, and then this one must be around the same time, and I've uploaded this one. I want to knit this. Look at it. It's very cool. So, but yeah, if you want to check it out, I'll definitely leave the link down below. Most of them have more than one pattern because they're a whole booklet. They usually have, watch this one, it doesn't say, maybe like 4 or 5 designs. Some have more, some have less, it really depends. And I'm charging like $10, which I think is reasonable. But yeah, I'm excited to share them with the world. It's a bit of Australian history since they were published and printed and used as an Australian wool. But yeah, that's them. I have a few more to do, so I will continue to keep updating it as I go. And I will keep buying more patterns because they're like really fun. I like to find vintage knitwear and then try and match it to a pattern as close as possible. Sometimes there is an exact pattern, and I have a highlight on my Instagram of like exact matches, but sometimes they're not always exact. So this one here, this one, I'll try and get it closer, is very similar to some of the vintage knits I actually have, so I might knit that one. But yeah, I really should knit more of the patterns in my collection rather than browsing the internet for other ones. So maybe after this one by Femme is finished, I will cast on another, maybe that blue and white one. I was thinking in that blue vintage yarn that I have would be cool. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't really have any other plans. I'm hoping to sew up some more dresses using this pattern because I want to have it fit me like a pattern block, because I really like the full dart style. Yeah, apart from that, that's everything I think, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna leave all the links to everything down below. If you've gotten this far, I'd love a thumbs up so that other people who love vintage can find me and share the joy of knitting vintage patterns and praying that they work. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye!